Hi everyone, it's Wednesday and I'm glad to see you this morning getting ready to do some more online learning. It looked like everyone had a great day yesterday and I saw lots of you connecting with each other and writing messages to each other, and so I'm happy to see that. It's nice to be able to respond back to you guys as well. So hope everything's going well. Hope that you had some good support with your mammal reports. And so today I wanted to talk about a little bit about math. Because on your assignment it said to play a math game, and I'm sitting on the floor in my spare room right now, and we have some games right here that we like to play as a family. Maybe you have some of these same ones, and so the idea for your math assignment was to do something fun and to do something with your family, and maybe do a little bit of math as well, like for example maybe play Monopoly, where you have to count some money. And we have a favorite math game, or a game that we like to play. It's called Rook. My family plays this, and there's a lot of math that goes on with this card game as well. And so I want to talk with you a little bit about playing some games or using cards to do some fun math at home. So let's say you're done with your assignment, just like you would be in class, and you would go over and get your math center, and you can do this at home with just a regular deck of cards. Most everyone has a regular deck of cards at home. So I'm going to give you just some suggestions of some things that you can do on your own. So let's say mom or dad, are busy with brother or sister, and maybe they're older and they're having to help them with their work, or maybe they're younger and they're having to tend to them, or maybe mom and dad are working from home as well. And so I wanted to give you some suggestions of some things that you can do with just a regular deck of cards and do some math. I know many of you love to do math. Of course, Gernor and Daniel and Robert, I know how much you guys like to do math. And Jenna, you too. And so just give you some suggestions on some things that you can do today. So what you'll need to do is just get a regular deck of cards. Remember the ace is equal to 1, the number 1. And then remember the face cards, the jack, king, and queen, are equal to 10. Okay? And so I want to just talk, first of all, we've done this in class, so you should already know some of these, is just doing some addition equations, just regular basic addition equations. So you would need a piece of paper and a pencil and just a regular deck of cards. So you would take 2 cards off the top, and you would make an equation. So this equation here, of course, would be 1 plus 5, right? Take 2 more cards, right? And this is 6 plus 4. And so the fun thing about using a deck of cards is you never know what number you're going to get or what number combinations you're going to get. So after you go through your whole deck, you can shuffle them up, and then you get a whole new set of equations. And so for addition, of course, you can just do single digit addition, or if you want to make it a little harder, you could choose 2 cards like this. So this would be, of course, 46, and this would be, my next number would be 54. So I could do 54 plus 46, make it a little harder. Now, if you want to make it even harder, of course, you can pick up 3 cards at a time and make your equation. So you could go up into the hundreds place, right? So I could have 500 and, whoops, let me fix that. I could have an equation where the first number was 543 plus 456 and make it a little bit harder. Okay, now you can do the same thing with subtraction equations, right? So you're going to pick your 2 cards right off the top. Now on subtraction, you're going to have to make sure that you have the card that's the higher number on the top, right? Because we can't do 5 take away 6, so you're going to have to switch them around. 6 take away 5. If you want to make it harder, of course, then you get your second card. Now my equation, of course, is 63 take away 54. If you still want to make it harder, you put 3 numbers on there. So you've got a number in the ones, tens, and hundreds, right? So now my equation is 635 take away 544. Okay? Another fun way to use a deck of cards is to make some fact families, right? So fact families I would take my 2 cards right off the top. And what do I have? A 3 and a 6. So 3 plus 6 equals 9. Then you switch it. 6 plus 3 equals 9. Then, of course, for fact families, you have to have 2 takeaway equations. So you would do 9 take away 6 equals 3, and 9 take away 3 equals 6, right? Okay, another fun thing to do with a deck of cards is to use your cards to make expanded form. Okay, so for expanded form, you can use 2 cards. You choose 2 cards, and my number is 62. So I write that out. 60 plus 2 equals 62. If you want to make it harder, then of course you choose 3 cards. Now my number is 362, so I write my expanded form 300 plus 60 plus 2. Okay, and another thing that is fun to do with a deck of cards is to write out a word problem. I know many of you like to write, and this is a good time to use some of that good math vocabulary, like words like how many are there all together or how many are left. So I would take my deck of cards, right, and I take my 2 off the top, and I've got a 6 and a 3. So maybe I would say there were 6 dogs in the yard and 3 of them ran away. How many are left? Or I could make another equation. There were 6 fish swimming in the fish bowl and 3 were put in. How many fish are there all together? Okay, so that's another way that you can do, you can use a deck of cards. All right, the next thing is adding up to 20, which is something that all second graders need to do for your report card. And so you would just write this on your paper. Something plus something equals 20, and you're trying to find this missing addend. So you would take your card, right, and the first card would lay right here. 6 plus something equals 20, and you have to try to figure out what that missing addend is. Now you can count up from 6 to 20, or you can do a subtraction equation. 20 take away 6 equals what? To try to get this missing number right here. Okay, so that's another fun way to use a deck of cards. And then you would just choose another one, put it here. 3 plus something equals 20. Do your next one, right? 2 plus something equals 20. Okay, the next one is playing the game of war. Now you probably have done this with a friend or with a family member, but for this activity, you would be doing it by yourself. So you would take your deck of cards again, and you would turn over 2 cards. Okay? And so my 2 cards are 5 and 2. So you would write 5 is greater than 2, making sure to use the math sign. Remember the alligator with the open mouth. Or you could do it the other way. 2 is less than 5, right? 5 is greater than 2. 2 is less than 5. So you can do greater than, less than, making sure you write them out so that your mom or your dad can check your equations. Okay, and then the last one is a guessing game, which is kind of fun. You would need another partner, and so you would take a card from your pile, and you would look at it, and you would try to give them some clues. So you could say something like, my number is less than 6, but greater than 4, right? Or you could say something like, my number is the first number that you use when you're counting by 5s, right? Something like that. Now you could also use 2 cards, 52. So then you could play a guessing game like, my number has a 5 in the tens place and a 2 in the ones place, right? Or my number is 10 less than 62, or my number is 10 more than 42, right? So you could use, you could play a guessing game with a partner. Okay, so those are just some fun things to do with a deck of cards, some fun things that maybe you can do by yourself to stay current on your math facts and your math concepts that we've gone over in class. So I hope you have a chance to play a fun math game with your family, and I hope that maybe you'll get a deck of cards